So we'll complete the binary operations which we started yesterday. So before starting the binary operation, how will you convert from binary to decimal? Which JavaScript function you will use to convert binary to decimal and hex to decimal, octal to decimal? Put it in the chat. I want to know if you remember which JavaScript function you will use to convert binary to decimal. Parse int, right? So parse int, and you will provide a number, for example 8 or binary number 10001, whatever you want number, and then you will give 2 for binary, 8 for octal, and 16 for hexadecimal. And how will you convert from decimal to binary? Which function you will use? ToString, right? ToString. Ali has answered correctly. ToString. So to do the ToString, we can say number, whatever number you have. For example, 1, 2, 3. Then you have to say ToString, and then you have to provide. If you want to convert binary, you will use 2 or 8 or 16 as per what you want to convert. Now let's talk about the right shift. So which JavaScript operator you will use for the right shift? We have seen right shift yesterday. Which operator you will use for the right shift? So how can we remember the right shift? Maybe you can think that since it is closing on the right side, so we are using the right shift. And if we want to use the left shift, which we will do today now, so it will be closing on the left side like this. So maybe I remember like closing on the left side. So I remember left shift, and for the right shift, I will say closing on the right side. So I remember. So if I want the right shift of 9 to 2 bits, I will use 9 greater than 2. And if I want to use left shift, so I can say left shift of 9 to 2 bits. I will put like this. So it is closing towards left side. So I'll say left shift. This is closing on the right side. So I'll say right shift. Okay, so next is so yesterday we have seen the right shift. What we were doing in the right shift, we were, let's say we were having 1001 as a binary number. We were deleting these two. And we were taking converting this into the decimal. This is how we were doing in the right shift. Okay. Okay, so I will write down like this here as it is. Okay, so I will write down here. So we take last 2 digit off in right shift. So whatever number we have, we take the last 2 digit off, and we will get 10 number because we will remove 1 and we'll get 10 in the binary format, and we have to convert it into number, whatever it is coming. Okay. And for the left shift, we will add the 20. So what we will do here in the left shift, we will add 2 zeros in the end of the number. So for example, if I take 1001, okay, so I want to convert first binary to decimal. Let's see what is the decimal of 1001. So I will say parse int 1001, and I will do since I want binary, it's a binary, so I will use 2. Okay, so when I use parse int, I'm getting the answer of 9. So we have the 9 number. Now we have to do the left shift. So we have to add 20. So what I will do, I will add 20 here. I add 20 here, and then I will check what is the number I get. So I add 20 and I'll add it. So I get the 36. So I'm getting answer of 36. Now, if we want to do, this is the manual process, how we are doing. So if we want to do using the symbol, I will say 9 left shift of 2. So we should get the similar answer. So either we do this way by adding the 20 in the end, or we do this way by giving the left shift symbol to make it work. So the left shift always uses the less than sign. Right shift uses greater than sign. Now we have some operations in binary which we will see now. First operation is called the AND operator. This is called AND operator. Second operator which we have here is OR operator. So it is a single pipeline. This is different than the comparative operator or that logical operator which we see. We have seen ampersand. We are not using this ampersand. This is a single ampersand. So when we use in the binary to do the AND operations, we use single AND. This is not double ampersand sign. Okay, this is a single ampersand and single pipeline. And for this OR, I use single pipeline. Okay, and there is another one called as the caret. This is the caret sign. This is called XOR. This is called XOR operation. So these three type of things we will see now. Okay, now let's say we have to compare. This is all comparison. We have to compare and we have to get the result. So when we say ampersand, means both should be 1. Since binary has 1 and 0 number, for AND both should be 1. If any one of them is 0, then it will be 0. Answer will be 0. So for example, if I have 0 ampersand 0, since both are 0, the answer will be 0. And if I take 0 ampersand 1, since one of them is 1 and one of them is 0, so both are not 1. Since both are not 1, the answer will be 0. And third example which we will see, I have 1 ampersand 1. So answer here is, since both of them is 1, that means answer will be 1. Okay, so this is called the AND operator. Now I will give few more examples and I will ask you what is the answer. Okay, so I will do 1 and then you have to do 3 more. So let's do one of them. So I have a number called as 111 ampersand 0000. So we have here all 1, here I have all 0, and I have to use AND operator. So we have to check one by one. This is 1, this is 0. Since both are not 1, therefore the answer will be 0. So let me write down here as 1 1 1, and I will write 0 0 0. Now here I have to give the answer. So here in this digit I have 1 here, I have 0 here. Since both are not 1, so answer will be 0, because AND operator means both of them should be 1. Then only the answer is 1. Otherwise, in both the cases, the answer is 0. Here, the last digit is 1 here and 0 here, so answer is 0. This is 1 and this is 0, so answer is 0 because both are different. If both are same and both are 1, then only the answer will come 1. And this is 1, this is 0, so answer is 0 for here. And this is 1 and this is 0, so this is again 0. So if I do 1 1 1 and 0 0 0, answer will be 0 0 0. So this is the example number 1. So let's do example number 2, and you have to answer me example number 2. I have 1 1 1 1 and another one is 0 0 0 1. So what will be the answer for this? I want the ultimate answer for this. Just do it quickly and put it in the chat. Okay, so 0 0 0 1. Since this and this is 1, so we have 1 here, but this and this is both are different and not 1, so it will be 0, again 0, again 0. So answer is correct. Everybody has given the correct answer of 0 0 0 1. Let's do example number 3. I have 1 1 1 1 and another one is 0 0 1 0. So what will be the answer? Ali, everybody has written correct answer because this 2 is 1, rest others are not same and not 1, therefore answer is 0 0 1 0. Let's take example number 4. I have 1 1 1 1 and another one is 0 1 0 0. What will be the answer for this? Okay, everybody has given the correct answer of 0 0 1. Now let's move to the OR operator. In the OR operator, if any one of them is 1, then it is 1. So if I have 0 and 0, since both are 0, the answer will be 0. If I have 0, sorry, this is OR operator. If I have 0 or 1, since one of them is 1, I will get answer of 1. Then I have 0, 1, sorry, 1 or 0. Since one of them is 1, therefore it is 1. And then I have 1 or 1. Since both are 1, but I need 1 at least, so answer will be 1. So if any of them is 1, answer will be 1, otherwise it's a 0. Okay, so let's try some more example. Now I will give, you have to give me the answer. 1 1 1 1 0 0 0 0. You have to use OR operator and give me the answer. Yeah, since either of this 1 1 1 1, everywhere 1 is there, so answer is 1 1 1 1. Let's take another example. 1 1 1 1 and 0 0 0 1. Here also all 1 1 1 1. Okay, next 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 1. 1101. Since this is 1, this is 1, this is 0, and this is 1. So its answer is 1101. Right. So this is about the OR operator. So let's move on to XOR. In XOR, if both are different, then only the answer is 1. Otherwise, the answer is 0. So for example, if I put 0 and the caret and again 0, since both are same, so answer will be 0. Next will be 0 caret 1. Since both are different, so it will be 1. Next will be 1 caret 0. Here also, since both are different, the answer will be 1. And next is 1 caret 1. Since both are same, so the answer will be 0. Here we have to see whether both are same, the answer will be 0. Both are different, answer will be 1. Now we have to do some problem. You have to give me the answer. 1111 and XOR with 0000. What will be the answer? Okay. Right. Everybody is writing correct answer. Since all are different in everywhere, I will put 1111. Next is 1111 0001. What will be the answer? 1110. Right. Since this is different, so I get 111, and last one is same, so I'll put 0. Next one, 1111 is the 1, and another is 0100. What will be the answer? One zero one one, right? 1011. Okay, so that's correct. So this is all about the bitwise operator. There is one more operator that is called NOT, which I will not do in this class, which we'll do in the later class. It's something the reverse of this. If all are 1, I make all 0. So we'll not see examples of that now, but because these are the main thing which I want to explain. Not one we will take when we'll do some practical examples. I will show some not one. Okay. So let me give you the notes URL for this Boolean so you can practice whenever you want. Okay, 1 second. Let me get the URL. Okay. Okay, so this is, I will put it in the chat and I'll also put in the Telegram. So this is the notes if you want to refer it again at later time. So majority of the bitwise or binary operators we have done in this 2 class, yesterday and today. Now we'll move to another topic, and for that I need not flash. I need fireworks. Okay. So let's talk about how JavaScript is executed. So, sorry, 1 second, let me open. Okay. So we will see how the JavaScript is executed. So whenever you write a code, anything, for example, take an example, var x equal to 10, then I use the function I create a function times 10 of a. I pass the parameter in a, and then I return a into 10. Now we'll see how the JavaScript is executed. Then I create var y equal to times 10, and I put x in it. Then I do console.log of y. Okay, so this is the simple JavaScript. Now we have to see how it is executed in the JavaScript. So what is the code? We assign 10 to x. We create a function. This function will return something. Then we create another variable which will call this function with the parameter x, that is the 10. 10 is passed here, and 10 goes here. 10 into 10 return will be y will be 100. So if I do console.log, it will be 100. So this is the simple 3-4 lines code is there. So you see only 4 lines of code, but now how JavaScript executes this script, that is what we want to see. So this is all in the global space. Okay, so the execution in JavaScript, when JavaScript is called, it is called global execution. Initially, what will happen? Global execution will happen. Now, global execution will happen in the 2 phases. One phase is called the creation phase, and second phase is called execution phase. So what happened? First is the creation part, and then the execution part happens. So this code is in the global space. That's why it is called the global execution, and it is related. It has given some name, and that name is called context. That is, we are doing the global context. So this everything is in the global. So we are just giving the name of context to it. It's called global execution context. So what happens first? First, it's a creation phase and then the execution phase. Now we will see what will happen in the creation phase, and then we'll see what will happen in the execution phase. So I will write down something and then I will explain that. When a script executes the first time, so whenever the script is there, when it executes the first time, so whatever I am explaining is very important, and many times in interview they ask how this global execution context works. So you have to remember all this, whatever I am explaining. This is not useful in your project, but in interview they ask, and you should know how it works. So this is for your learning purpose also. So what happens when a script executes first time, that is this script. Okay. The JavaScript engine, there is a JavaScript engine where we run the JavaScript, creates a global execution context. So what happens? Whenever a script executes first time, the JavaScript engine creates a global execution context. During this phase, it performs. Now what happens when the global execution creation? I will explain what are the things it does at this time. Perform the following tasks. What is the task? It create a global object, that is window in the web browser or global in Node.js. So it creates a global object. You can access this global object using this keyword. So but what happens? It creates a global object, and it creates this object that binds or that points to the global object above. So you can call this window object using the this keyword. So it creates the global object and it also binds this keyword to this global object. So you can either access it in the browser window or you can access it using the this keyword. You can access the global variables and functions which are available in the JavaScript. And then what happens? It set up a memory heap for storing variables and function references. So what it does here, it creates some memory space for what? For storing the variables and the function references. We have seen whenever we run the script, because of the hosting, the variable X goes into the memory, variable Y goes into the memory, and this function also goes into the memory. Okay, so function does not run and goes into the memory. It only goes the definition. So whatever definition it is, it goes into the memory. Okay, so this goes into the memory. So this happens in the creation phase, global creation phase. So after this object is created, then it sets up the memory space for storing the variables and the function references. This is the function references. So this happens after this object is created. So once it creates a memory space, then what it happens? It stores the function declaration in the memory heap and variables within the global execution context, but that also in the that also goes into the memory, but it is assigned in the this also. So whatever variables are there, we can see they are under this object. So though it is in the memory, but their variables are also assigned to this global execution context with the initial values as undefined. So what happened? Whenever we move this variable, so here you are written 10, but when the global execution context is run or created, this variable is created like this, and the value of this is initially the value of it is undefined. That is what this line is saying. Variables are assigned to the global execution context with initial value as undefined. So in the above example, in our example, during the creation phase, the JavaScript engine stores the variables X and Y and the function declaration times 10 in the global execution context. Besides, it initializes X and Y to undefined. So this is all happening in the creation phase. Okay, so this all things are happening in the creation phase, and then the execution will come. So after this all happens, and then what happens after the creation phase, the global execution context moves to the execution phase. So it moves to the execution phase where it will run line by line the code, this line by line. So whenever JavaScript runs, it always creates the global execution context, and the global execution context is created first and then executed. Executed means it runs. it runs so that user can see the variable changes, or it can see the program running. Okay. Now let's talk about the execution phase. During the execution phase, the JavaScript engine executes the code line by line. In this phase, it assigns values to variables and executes the function call. So initially what we have seen, the function declaration, whatever is this function, it does not run the function, but this function is moved to the memory space. This is memory heap. But in the execution phase, whenever you have called this function, it executes the function. Executes means it will run the function and it will return something or do whatever you have given in this function. Okay. So it runs the function. Now the interesting thing comes here. For every function call, the JavaScript engine creates a new function execution context. So we have seen initially the global execution context is created for all the code in the global space. But when a function is called, that is when this function is called, like here times 10, when this is called, a new execution context is created for this code block, only this code block. So the whole things repeat, though this is not there in the function call, but a function execution context is created and executed. Okay, so what happened? A new context is created that is called the function execution context. So initially we saw the global is created. Now for every function call, JavaScript engine will create a new function execution context. We will see this in the picture how it is done, but instead of creating the global object is not created in the function execution context. It creates the arguments object that contains a reference to all the parameters passed into the function. So what happened when we run the global execution context? We see this object is created in the global execution context. But as soon as the global execution context reaches the function, for example this function, then it will create a new function execution context, and here there will be no global object, but it will have another object that is called the arguments object that will contain the reference to all parameters passed into the function. So whatever we are passing here will be in the argument object. This is the argument object. So let's see this in few minutes, how the argument looks like. So whatever parameter we pass here, for example A, this will be stored in this argument object, and I use either directly A, or I can use the argument keyword to access this A. Okay, so either this will be used to access it. Okay, so this is something theory, little bit theory, then we'll see some example. So in our example, the function execution context creates the arguments object that references all parameters So for our function also argument will be created and references all parameters passed into the function, sets this value to the global object and initializes the parameter to undefined. Okay, so the function execution context creates the argument object that references all the parameter passed into the function, sets this value to the global object. I'm not sure why they are putting say this value, because this is already in the global object, but it initializes the parameters to undefined kind of thing. So whatever parameter you pass, if it does not have the value, or if you write something var a equal to 10, or you create some variable inside it, it will go into the memory with the b as undefined. Okay, and this one will also be initially be undefined, but since we pass it some value in the creation phase, it will be undefined, but as soon as I will in the execution phase, it will get the value of 10. So for each function context also, it is created, this lines of code is created, and then it initializes the parameter to undefined. So initially when I pass a, in the creation phase, a will be equal to undefined, and when it will execute, it will be 10, because we are passing whatever x we pass, it will be that value. Okay, so this is about the every function call. During the execution phase, during the execution phase of the function execution context, it assigns 10 to the parameter. So when it executes, it will assign the 10 value to the parameter a and returns the result that will be 100 to the global execution context. Okay, so whenever it executes, it will assign the 10 to the parameter a. So I told you in the creation phase, a will be undefined, but in the execution phase, a will get the value of x, that is 10, and it will return 100 to the global space. That is what it is written here. Now, to keep track of all the execution context, including the global execution context and the function execution context, the JavaScript engine uses a data structure called as call stack. The data structure which it uses is called the call stack. Okay, so this is called the call stack. Now we will see some of the practical things, how it happens. Okay, so what happened? So I will just show you. So this is the code, line of the code. This is the line of the code. This all is the creation phase and the execution phase. I will just repeat both phases again in some time, but let me show you. This is the line of the code which is in the global space. Now what happened? Here, let me take this. So there is a stack. This stack is called the call stack. So whenever the code is in the global space like this, what happens when the code runs? When the code runs, Okay, a uh, global execution context is created like here. Okay, so this global execution context is created. So this is the creation phase. In the creation phase, you will see a memory space is created. A value of this is assigned to the global object in the creation phase, and variable X is stored in the memory, Y is stored in the memory, a function is stored in the memory. So this happens in the creation phase. Okay, so this is the creation phase. And when, okay, let me write down this also. Okay. So what goes into the creation phase? This X goes into the memory, Y goes into the memory, and this function definition goes into the memory in the creation phase of the global execution context. So this is the global execution context. Okay, after creation phase of the global execution context, the code will run line by line. That is the execution phase. In the execution phase, okay, let me delete this. Okay, so now global execution context is created. All are in memory. Now line by line the code will run. So what will run first? Var x equal to 10. So when x is equal to 10, what will happen? The value of x will become 10 in the memory. So first thing is happening, x equal to 10. So at x equal to 10, what is happening? A value 10 is assigned to x, and where is x? X is in memory. Then y is assigned with a function called. What is the function called? Times 10. And x is passed in this. Since the function is called, a new execution context is created here in the call stack. This execution context is called the function execution context, and the function execution context means times 10. So as soon as this is created, it will stop working in this global execution context, and it will try to run this execution context. And when this execution context is created, what it will done? It will, whatever we did in the global one, now whatever is inside the function will happen. All the variables will be assigned in the memory, and the code will run line by line. So what is the line by line? A into 10. So A into 10 will run, and it will return 100. Since it will return 100, this function, job of function is done. Since it return 100, the job of this function is done. This box is called function execution context. Since we have called the function, so this function execution context is created, and then code is running line by line inside the function. Inside the function means this one. And once it is done, the value is returned. 100 is returned in the global space. That is, this 100 will be returned to the y. So this 100 will, once the 100 is returned to y, this function execution context is deleted, gone. Because it does its work and it is deleted, gone. Once it is deleted, then again the global execution context will run after the y. And after the y, what is the line of statement? This one, console.log of y. So after this function is deleted, what a pain. I'm not able to write, okay. So after this function is gone from the call stack, then the new line will run, that is this console.log of y. And once this is run, all the statements are run, completed, then this global execution context will also be gone. Everything will go away. And nothing is there here because all the script run successfully. So in short, let me explain you once again in short what happened. The summary of whatever I showed you. Summary is you have 10 lines of code. What will happen? A global execution context is created. In the creation, what happened? A global object is created. And this is variable is this object is created. And what is inside this? Inside this nothing but global object. So this global object is the copy inside this object. And after this is created, a memory space is created for all the variables and function declaration. And after the memory space is created, then comes the execution phase. In the execution phase, all the 10 lines of the code run line by line. Line by line, code will run. And as soon as it will see any function, then what will happen? A new execution context called as function execution context is created on top of global context. Then the script will halt in the global context because we have function call. So before running all other lines of the code in the global context, code will run inside the function execution context. And function execution context is also similar. It will create some object that is called argument object, and it will make the all variables in the memory with the undefined value, which will go into the memory, and then it will run line by line code inside the function. So let's say there are 3 lines of the code inside the function. It will run all the 3 lines. And once all 3 lines are run, it may return the value to global space. It may return something to global space. Once it returns to global space, this function execution context is deleted. It was here. So here initially it was global execution context, and as soon as it sees the function, it will create another function execution context here. And when all 3 lines of code are run in function execution context, this function execution context will be deleted. And then all other lines of the code in the global space, all other lines of code in global space will run now. And once they are done, then this global execution context will also be deleted. And we have nothing in the call stack. Since we don't have anything in the call stack, then it will not run any more thing until it has something. But right now, since everything ran, it will not have anything, and it will remain empty till you refresh the page or you go somewhere or something happens. Is this clear? So one question is, what is the difference between argument and parameter, which I will tell you later, not in this class. That is something when we do function, we'll see difference between parameter and arguments. Okay, is there any misunderstanding or you have doubt in understanding this part? Okay, so basically whatever I explained here, tomorrow I will explain it in another way. I will repeat whatever I explained today. I will explain with some more examples. Today we have seen only one function execution context. Tomorrow we'll see what will happen if another function execution context is called, how the things will happen. Okay, and also we will see, even if it's clear, I will repeat tomorrow the same thing. The reason is this is asked almost in every interview. Whatever interview I have given in JavaScript, every person used to ask me this question. Okay, so we should understand it clearly. So today we have seen only the one function execution. Tomorrow we'll see couple of functions are there, how the execution context is created and run line by line. And we will see also this part, the arguments part, how the arguments part object looks like in the real world. Okay, so that is what we'll do tomorrow. Is there any question you want to ask now of whatever I explained?